Hello, this is Will from Creeper. You're listening to the Rock Sound Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Rock Sound Podcast. I'm Will Cross, Junior Editor at the magazine. Joining me as always and forever, Tamsin Wills.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, good week.
It's been a crazy week. We had our bank holiday weekend, didn't we? And I think everyone's just gone a bit mad, and I don't know what day it is, what I'm doing, where I'm going, or anything really. So it's going well.
Chaos.
Yeah, that is my life in general, to be fair.
And Mr. Jack Rogers, how are you?
Hello, Will.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, yeah.
Yeah,
just another week existing.
I'm really excited for the week where Will asks you how you are, and you go, I am bloody brilliant, and we all get excited
Yeah.
about how happy you are.
I'm waiting for that as well,
I mean,
yeah.
I thought you were going to say you can't wait for the one where I just go, actually, guys, I'm feeling a bit
I'm
blue.
having a bit of a moment.
And I felt as though the right platform would be on a podcast which is going out across the world.
Oh, wow.
But no, luckily I'm just all right this week.
No chaos like Sam's in?
No, just chilled out, yeah.
Lovely.
It's been a quiet one, so plenty of... not a lot of nonsense going on, so
Awesome.
makes a change.
Can't mess with that. Cool. So last week, thank you so much for subscribing, getting involved, messaging us, letting us know what you think. We absolutely love it. So please keep doing that. Last week we had the amazing Miss Lynn Gunn from Paris. It was on album release day that went out for All We Know of Heaven, All We Need of Hell. So it's really, really cool to talk to Lynn all about that album a few days ahead of its release and how she was feeling and kind of looking back on the whole kind of crazy process of putting that album together. We also had Mr. Briston Bond from Wage War bringing a bit of mosh, heavier vibes to the podcast, talking about the kind of heavier music coming back into the mainstream a bit more, into the spotlight and what's going on, which is really cool to see. And of course working with Mr. Jeremy McKinnon from A Day to Remember 2, so check that out. And we had a new feature, new band Spotlight. Obviously we mention them every week, but Stand Atlantic, trio from Sydney, Australia, our favourite new band collectively. They're currently lead breakout in the magazine. We had Bonnie Fraser, frontwoman, on the podcast to kind of introduce her band to you guys, we hope you're loving them. And I think I've really noticed actually that we put a tweet out earlier this week about new bands you've been listening to. Stand Atlantic, man, so many replies. So
Everybody's
And
on board
Bonnie
now.
said she wants to hang out with me, so I'm just really happy.
Yeah, she did, like straight
exactly. Yeah, you were very, very happy. So yeah, hopefully that'll happen.
Mission accomplished.
So go back, check that out. Let us know what you think. But this week, we have got another bumper episode, yet another one. We have got Chrissy Costanza from Against the Current. We caught up with Chrissy, talk Everything Album 2. When the band were over for their UK shows last week. She revealed absolutely everything. When you're going to be hearing music, what it's sounding like, influences, being influenced by Oasis, being influenced by Lord, all sorts of stuff. So that's coming up in a bit. And we also spoke to John O'Callaghan from the Maine, absolute legend. Talk all things Lovely Little Lonely, one of the standout albums of this year. Being their own agents and kind of, well, in his words, you'll hear what he says, but something really brilliant about what he thinks his band embodies. So really cool. So to kick off, Tamsin,
I've got the news.
You do?
I do. Kicking things off with two bands we've spoken about quite a bit on the podcast recently, who have been absolutely smashing it out the park with their album releases. Brand New and Neck Deep, both top 10 with top 5 albums. Brand New are at number 1 and Neck Deep are at number 2 in the US charts and US charts, and Neck Deep are at number 4 in the UK charts, which is absolutely insane. I think you like just looking at UK rock bands this year. Pretty much all of them have got top 10 records, and I think that just shows how amazing the music scene is at the moment. So shout out Neck Deep for making a banger of a record, and Brand New for just dropping one out of thin air like they do.
And going to number 1, crazy.
And going to number 1. Not many bands can do that. And also, there are so many tours being announced. Like, you might want to get your diaries out because there's a lot to put in. First up, 1OK Rock are coming back to the UK and Europe for a tour at the end of the year. Autumn Low are doing 3 So Wrong It's Right shows in the US, and I'm going to cry because I can't go to any of them. But to make that easier, Paramore have announced a European arena tour because even though they were here a few months ago, they've decided to come back again, and I can't wait. Architects, probably one of the biggest, best UK metal bands right now, have announced their biggest ever headline show at Alexandra Palace in London, and they're bringing While She Sleeps and Counterparts along for the ride as well, which is just going to be ridiculous. And Against the Current and Milk Teeth are supporting Good Charlotte in November and December in the UK. So make sure you get down to those shows because those supports are going to be banging.
Awesome. So excited for that. Yeah. Oh, man. Architects. And then, it's going to be crazy. Yeah.
I want to go just to see your reaction.
I mean, I kind of have a history with Alexandra Palace because every show that I'm at, I usually get into some sort of nonsense. Like Bring Me There, Enter Shikari, Brand New. And I'm really looking forward to adding Architects to that because I think the term is walking on heads.
Yep.
Which I'm probably going to try and walk on heads from the back of that room.
I'm
going
to stay away from you then.
Yeah.
For the entire night.
I mean, I'll be at the craft beer tent.
Oh.
And having
it's all planned out.
Oh yeah.
He's like he's still got months to go yet, but he's planning his evening hour by hour.
The metalcore itinerary is in.
Amazing. So the GC tour in November and December, absolutely insane supports lined up for that, announced last week. So yeah, that leads us straight into interview 1 this week, Against the Current. So they're going to be main support to GC. We caught up with Chrissy, as I said at the beginning of the episode, to talk all things album 2, and she was not shy with the secrets. Like, she opened up about everything we wanted to know, everything you guys out there want to know, when you're going to be hearing music, what it's going to be sounding like, her recent tweets about the In Our Bones cycle that we spoke about on the podcast a few weeks ago, and going into this new era of ATC. So without further ado, Chrissy Costanza, here we go. Chrissy, thank you so much for joining us on the Roxanne podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Excited to be here.
Let's kick off with, recently you were tweeting about coming out of the In Our Bones cycle and moving into the new era. You've been writing heavily over the summer. You said in that era kind of knocked you for 6 a little bit, and it kind of took its toll. Take us inside that. Like, was that the kind of instant success of the album and that sort of thing?
It wasn't the success necessarily. It's just, I guess I didn't realize how draining every aspect of a record can be from writing it as well. I mean, I'm a little bit more prepared, but we're on our 2nd record right now in the middle of writing it, and it's so draining. And we really ran the gauntlet with our first record. We were writing every single day. We were writing with different people every day. And so every day it was like, okay, tell me who you are and what do you feel right now? So it was just like completely opening yourself up every single day to someone. And I guess I didn't really realize how that can really take a toll on your emotions. There was one day that I could not get out of bed and go into the studio. I was like, I can't be anything today. I just have to sleep. Like, I can't explain anything. Because it's not enough to just say, oh, I've been feeling, quite low lately. You have to really go into, like, those details so you can get the lyrics. So it's just like, I don't know, it's like going to, like, a psych evaluation every single day. And I mean, there are times where you're sitting with a complete stranger and you're like telling them like your deepest, darkest secrets that you don't even tell your best friends.
Yeah.
So it's quite exhausting. And then you're reliving those every single day on tour when you're playing the shows, and then you have kids asking you about them, and then you have to tell them about it. And it's like, obviously I love sharing it because I hope it's therapeutic for other people when we're talking about like the heavier lyrics, but it's also exhausting because it's just like, oh, I don't want to tell you about how I'm upset right now. Like, can't we just have a good time today?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of that came from putting yourself out there lyrically then.
Yeah, for sure. And just like needing to be accessible at all times and everyone needed to know everything about you. And it's like, there's some times where I'm just like, there's nothing interesting here. Just I just want to go to bed.
Because you were saying as well that you want On In Our Bones, you want everything to be perfect, and that there was kind of a reaction to that in the song Demons.
Right.
Was that because by that did you mean that you it kind of almost came through completely, like you had no control over it almost? It just kind of came out of you.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of experience trying to like figure out what it is that kind of like makes me tick and what it is that like, gets me down. And what I've come to actually just in the last few months, and I don't even think I realized this on Inner Bones, is what degree of a perfectionist I am, to the point where it's like soul crushing at times. Like, I can't deal with failure. I often give up on things before I let myself fail at them. So I think, especially coming out of like the Gravity era, where we had so much success off just an EP, there was so much pressure for In Our Bones to be great that I just couldn't stand to think that any slight thing like wouldn't be perfect. I can't listen to the album right now because I'm like, I can hear all of the things I would have done differently, and I can't listen to those things because it just like crushes me and like puts me into like a corner.
Wow. So it was really intense then, some of the things you were writing about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I never realized where those things came from, I guess. I was just like, oh, I'm an artist, I must be crazy. Like, you know, we're all kind of crazy here. I was like, I don't know why we are, but we're all just a little like fucking psycho at times. But then I realized that that's what it was. It was just like this like incessant desire for every single thing to have to go right. Everything has to be perfect, and if it's not good enough, and why bother giving that to people? Like, I don't know, I just like, I couldn't stand the idea of doing something that wasn't good enough, and then I would feel like I was letting myself down, and I was letting like the fans down, and I dropped out of college, and I left home, and I did all these things, and it's like all of that is like right there behind me, and it's like I can't let all of this down by not doing the most perfect thing I could possibly do.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean as well, you mentioned the kind of the more sort of light fun tracks as well.
Yeah.
And they are all over In Our Bones as well.
Right,
you know,
absolutely.
like, is that something that you kind of you wanted to make sure was, you know, in the Against the Current sound and on that album?
Yeah,
in a big way.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I get, you know, how I get, but I've also been having an absolute blast for the entire span of the Against the Current lifeline or whatever it is. I get to do what I love. Like, I get to sing every single day. I get to write my own songs and sing about the things that I want to sing about. And I want those things to be fun, too. I want them to make people feel good. I don't want everyone just to be crying all the time. So we try to kind of combat the heavier songs with more positive songs. So
cool. And going into the new album then, obviously the writing you've got down, like, is that going to be, are we still going to see both of those sides then? Or is there, and is there maybe going to be a bit more of a light shone on the more vulnerable sides of the band?
There's absolutely going to be both. I think my biggest aim on this album was there are some tracks that are very fun. We haven't put the track listing together. We're still writing, but from what I can tell, there are some tracks that are very just straight up fun. There's one that I think like we're all kind of already leaning towards as a single that's just like super fun. But I think the most important thing for me in this record has been like complexity. Like, I don't want a song to just be sad or happy and this is just a breakup song. One of the things I admire about the artist Lorde is that all of her songs are kind of like, they're bittersweet or they're melancholy, they're happy and sad, they're tragic yet hopeful. Like, they have all of these kind of twists to them. Like, that song Perfect Places sounds like exciting and like enthralling and whimsical, but the lyrics are actually pretty sad. And like, that's kind of the thing that I wanted to try and capture more on this record, because I think that's how I feel more often every day. I don't just feel good or bad. It's like I'm having a great day, but there's these underlying things, or I'm having a bad day, but I have like this hopefulness. So I wanted to try and put that more into our songs.
Awesome. So they say about Perfect Places, or maybe a song like Green Light as well.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that song goes to so many different places.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're aiming to do with some of these tracks?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the songs that has been a favorite sounds kind of happy. Like, the chorus is like, you know, you can like kind of bop to it. But it's about something that's very heavy. So, and I don't think you get that right away when you listen to it. You're not thinking how heavy it is, but I think it's something that you feel in the back of your head and you don't know why it's there until you really like dig into the lyrics of the song, not record. So that's kind of, I don't know, I really like that because I think it's more human that way, because I think that's how we are as people in general. We're never black and white.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, like, as well, writing about these very complex emotional things, it sounds like, you know, you're doing that more and more. I mean, did you feel, especially with the band, you know, becoming so popular and so successful, like, did you feel, and especially over this cycle, have you felt a responsibility, you know, because you've got a lot of people looking up to you, a lot of fans looking up to you. Is that something that takes its toll, has taken its toll?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a really diverse fan base. So as much as we have people that are our age or older, we also have a lot of younger kids. So there's always that balance on like being appropriate, I guess is the word. That sounds really like stupid and corny, but I don't know, the way I was raised and everything, it's like I don't ever want to do stuff just for me. Obviously, I'm an artist and I have to express myself and I have to be true to myself, but all of these people are part of a band. I feel like a band isn't just what it is in and of itself. I feel like it's a collective experience of everyone else. Especially, you know, when we're on our second record, all the experiences we've had up to this point are part of the record now. So I want to really take into account those experiences and the people that have been experiencing it with us.
For sure, and I mean, I guess then taking all that into account, with the new album, is this going to be a more, I guess, a more open, more confident, more complex against the current that we're going to be hearing?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's not going to come out of left field and be like, okay, like they were a pop band or a rock band and now they're a metal. You know what I mean? It's not going to be. Yeah. It's not going to be like, who is this band? I think it's just truly a representation of us growing up, the way In Our Bones was from Gravity and Gravity was from Infinity. I think this is the biggest change between records or EPs that we've had so far. I think it's gonna. We definitely experimented a lot more with this. It's still digestible. It's not going to be like totally weird. You're not going to be like, how do I listen to this? It's not like shocking like the new Fall Out Boy, which I think is an awesome track.
Yeah.
But it's not going to like knock you off your feet in that kind of way. It's just going to be way more probably like intelligently written is the best way to say it. Because once again, we've grown up so much. You know, we wrote In Our Bones over a year, so it was like 2 and 3 years ago that we were writing it, and some of those lyrics came from even before that. So we're very different people now, and I think also touring and being in a band and being in that position of responsibility ages you a lot quicker, and you see things a lot faster, and you kind of have to figure yourself out a lot faster because you're kind of forced to. You can't just put it in the back of your head. So I think that'll come through a lot as well.
Awesome. And for people at home listening who are really excited about the new music, I mean, if we look at the songs on In Our Bones, what would you say is the one song that's kind of the natural bridge between what you're writing now and what was on that album?
I think the natural bridge would probably be Wasteland.
Cool.
Not that the new record is shaping up to sound as, like Wasteland's quite dark pop, but I think Wasteland was a very different style than anything else that we had ever done. I think it incorporated a lot of other more subtle elements. So I don't want people to think like, oh, it's going to sound like Wasteland. Like there's going to be a new record that sounds like Wasteland. It's way more in the subtleties of that song. We got way outside of our comfort zone and went down every path that we could, no matter how weird it was, because we can always take it back and make it more against the current. But if we're just constantly like trying to stay in this like little world, we're never going to like get out there.
Yeah, for sure. And like taking that idea then with Wasteland at the time being, you know, a little bit of a departure for you guys. Yeah. In terms of potential curveballs and that sort of thing, can we expect, obviously I don't want to sort of pressure too much, but like, can we expect sort of, you know, maybe a couple of further departures for Against the Current?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say because no matter how excited we get about a song, there's no guarantee that it's going on the record. Like we're not here, like we're not at that point yet where we're putting songs on the record officially. Hopefully soon, in like the next month or two we will be, but it's hard to say. There is one song that sounds just like Phoenix, so that's very different than us. I don't know if it's actually going to end up on album 2 or not, but I hope it does because I think it's a really cool song. But it's definitely totally different than anything. I say fuck in it. I've never said fuck in a song.
Amazing.
I know, it's not, well, I'm getting rowdy over here. Who is she?
Is it a rowdy song, or is it kind of, how do you
very
deliver
Phoenixy.
Yeah,
it's like
sick.
Very Phoenixy. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like an ironic song. It's a little bit, I don't really know how to explain it. It's one of those things where, which is what I really wanted, like I said, with the record, is it's a little bit more complex. It's not like happy, sad, black, white. It's very much like a mixture of things. A little sarcastic.
Cool.
So, but not angsty. Because that was the thing, is I never really knew how to be sarcastic without being angsty.
Awesome. And in terms of new music then, so you're putting tracks together at the moment. What's the timeline? Like, is it going to be a 2018 release for the album?
Really early 2018.
Oh, wow. So
really early. If everything goes to... I shouldn't even say this because, you know, when has any Against the Current release ever been on time ever? I don't think there ever has been. I don't think we've ever done anything on time. We're late people. But hopefully very early 2018.
Cool. So we might even be hearing new music, potentially this year?
Potentially, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
The hope is that we can get a song or two out by the end of the year. But that just really depends on where we are with the record, and you know, we want to do it right. Like I said, still perfectionist, even though now that I'm aware of it, I'm still a little crazy on myself. So we want to make sure that we don't just push something out for the sake of pushing it out. We want to have it absolutely right.
Cool.
Which is something I really admired with like Paris pushing their record back, is because Lynn said she wanted everything to be the right way, and that was something that absolutely spoke to me because I was like, girl, I feel you.
Cool. Very, very cool. So just to finish up then, so hearing new music potentially end of the year, album
Yep.
starting next year. Is there anyone else that you've been really digging recently that might have an effect on ATC?
Might have an effect. Yeah, see, the thing is, usually we listen to like so much music that doesn't have any effect on us, or maybe
Right.
it does more subliminally. But like if we said it, then you'd be like, "What?" Like I listen to Bon Jovi like it's nobody's business, but I don't think that comes out in our music necessarily. At least maybe I hope not, or maybe I hope it does.
There's nothing wrong with Bon Jovi, yeah.
I've loved Dan and I have listened to a lot of Oasis recently, which, big British,
For sure.
rock group. And we watched like the documentary or he watched it and then was like, you have to watch this. And further, like more modern than that, like Catfish and the Bottlemen. And I've been loving that kind of really like organic rock band sound, because we've kind of drifted away from that obviously, and we're quite a bit more pop, but I think those roots and influences are really important because their songs are so simple, yet they're the most powerful songs ever. Like no one will ever not know the words to Wonderwall. And Liam probably sang it in one take.
Oh,
or
yeah.
2 takes, you know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. It's like, so when you're sitting in a vocal booth and you're like taking take after take after take because every single word has to be, perfect, or when you're overthinking every single lyric, I read a thing where Noel was like, I just wrote this line because it rhymed. He's like, it means nothing. And it's like I think that's in Champagne Supernova.
Yeah.
And so it's like the cannonball line. He's like, yeah, it means nothing. So it's so good to keep that perspective in mind too, because like I said, with the whole perfectionism, it's just I'll overthink the if and but, and for people like them, they'll just write it because it sounds good, it feels good, and it evokes that feeling, and those are the biggest songs of all time. So maybe that's a good note for me to take sometimes.
For sure. And also, so with you listening to bands like Oasis, will there be that rock root, those rock roots and that rock element will still remain?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think you might not hear it as a rock song. You might not think like, oh, this is a rock song. But I think the influences of rock music are so important to maintain. I think some of the best pop acts are always the ones that come from bands. There are so many people that have come from bands, like even if you look at like Jack Antonoff and things like that, it's just like, and then you hear the music they create and it's not necessarily rock music, but it's so good. And there's so much more to it than just, not that pop music doesn't have anything to it, but you can kind of tell the difference. There's like the substance to it because of that upbringing that they can do because they just understand it.
Awesome. So that was my chat with Chrissy from Against the Current. So good. I love it that she was just so open, so excited about what that band are doing right now. And the fact she was just like, yeah, we just want to get this out. We just want this album to come out, right at the start of 2018. We want you to hear songs before the end of the year. So exciting. Tamsin, what are you saying?
I mean, I think we're definitely seeing a new Chrissy Costanza at the moment. She's very much a woman coming into her own and dealing with a lot of her own personal demons. Like, she was very open about saying she's a soul-crushing perfectionist, as she put it, and is very scared of failure, which I think as an artist anyone would be. But I think she's kind of owning it. She's kind of accepting who she is and working out where she wants to go with the band, what she wants to write about. And I'm really, really looking forward to hearing that new music, because she said Wasteland is like the biggest bridge between the two. And that is my favourite song.
It's such a banger, that song.
In Our Bones.
Yeah.
So if the new album is going to sound anything similar to Wasteland, I am totally stoked for it.
I'm so sold. I think this could be a pop rock monster on our hands. Jack?
I mean, only recently, really, I've become obsessed with Against the Current. It's taken me a bit longer than everyone else to really jump on board. But after seeing them perform last week at Borderline, and like the precision that they have with their music and like just the passion which exudes from it, to hear her talk so with such vulnerability when they're such a confident band going forward is really interesting. And I found her saying, like, with this album, like working with different people and having to open herself up like on different days, like about the same things, and exude all of this baggage to make people understand, like to be still like smashing it as they are and do that on the daily. Like, it takes some guts to be able to like exist like that as an artist. I think it's just gonna reap so many benefits when this album comes out and when it's recorded. And as well, I think it kind of works in the same way as the Paramore album this year, as that the songs may be, like, she used the term happy but heavy, which I think is a great way of summing up like what music should be, and especially music of this ilk. And I think if she's, because they opened them up on In Our Bones, but if she's going even further, like I think you're right, we could have an absolute monster on here.
Yeah, totally, for sure. I mean, last week's show was absolutely brilliant. As you say, it was just done with such precision. Every song just kind of smashed through. Like, it's already a set of bangers, and they've literally got an album and 2 EPs. So absolutely crazy. Just one final thing as well. I love it. One of my favourite things that bands say is like when they've got influences from completely disparate places. So to have name dropped Lord and then to have name dropped Oasis in the same chat going into this album.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting the Oasis drop. And
Yeah.
I was just like the influences were coming out, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, did she actually just say Oasis?
I'm very excited to set off a flare at their next at their next show if there's going to be Oasis or Chrissy walking out.
Chrissy coming out in a
Parker.
Oh, mate, how good would
bright
that
orange
be?
Parker.
Oh, Chrissy, make it happen. I mean, I mean, like, that really, really bodes so well for this album. I think it could be a really, as well as a kind of, you know, a pop rock monster of an album, it could be really, really unusual and unpredictable as well. So exciting. So more on that as it comes. Awesome. Jack.
Hello. We're going to do some readers' questions.
Oh, yes.
Listeners' questions. We're going to begin on Twitter with We All Go Mad, who asked us, what's the weirdest music video we've ever seen? And my choice is Left Behind by Slipknot, because it's one of those videos where, when I think back on it now, just the whole atmosphere of it, and it's this little kid like in a house on his own eating disgusting Cheerios, and it's all muddy and murky, and then the Iowa masks are the scariest Slipknot masks by far.
Big time.
Just like you saying those sentences, like I can picture every single bit of it, that video in my head straight away.
I remember thinking that Slipknot were, like, before I became the person I am today, I used to think they were terrifying, and that video, just like just the way that they made it, and just the heaviness of that song, and just like this poor little kid like living on his own and eating.
All he wants is
he just wants Cheerios. He just wants some fresh Cheerios.
He wants some fresh milk to go with his Cheerios.
and Slipknot won't let him have them.
Oh man, it's a great show. And Corey's mask apparently got blown off on set by the wind machine like constantly when they were making it.
Well, it is made out of human skin, so like.
Allegedly. I'm going with Your So Last Summer by Take It Back Sunday, in the sense that it's a fairly normal video of them just performing, I think, New York, but then Flavor Flav from Public Enemy just pops up and is just literally singing Adam Lazzara's bits, and then they're kind of dual vocaling. It's so bizarre and remains bizarre like all these years on. Yeah, it's just one of those things that it's almost like it shouldn't make sense, but then you sit and you see Flavor Flav up there with Adam and Take Back Sunday, and it's just like, this is so cool, you know? So yeah, it's my shout.
I'm going to go with Bring Me the Horizon's Follow You. Just because I think the first time I saw it, I was just sat there going, what the bloody hell is going on?
Everything.
Yeah, literally everything. And then there's just this guy that's just casually walking through the streets where literally like things are blowing up, dogs are having their heads blown off, and various gross things. I don't really like watching it anymore. But yeah, I'm going to go with that. That's weird.
Love makes you do funny things. Isle of Forest Birds on Instagram asked us, what's our opinion on Panic at the Disco's evolution over the years? And I think, quite simply, they went from defining a whole era to defining another era with their next album to completely making pop their own with their third album. And then now that Brendan's on his own, he's like indestructible. And I think just watching that progression and how he's molded like his own tastes and like styles and yet stayed relevant is just like incredible. And no one else can do it like Brendan.
Yeah, totally same. I mean, just super impressive. Like, I mean, I was huge on Phoebe Can't Sweat Out. I think came out when I was 13. Massive on it. And then for Brendan to have for the band to have been kind of dismantled, and then for Brendan to have put it all back together and to become bigger and even more relevant now is just absolutely insane. I mean, when does that happen? You know, so just big up Brendan Urie, man. Crazy.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, A Thief You Can't Sweat Out was like my album. I remember when it first came out and I listened to it for 5 hours straight on the way back from family holiday. And even now I can listen to it nearly every day and I will never get bored of it. And then, yeah, that, like, as you said, they kind of like, they dismantled a bit and that, like, they produced some really good records and some really good songs, but kind of just I feel like no one really cared about them, and because they knew that things were going on with the band and who was in it and who wasn't in it and everything else. And then, yeah, for Brendan to kind of pull it all out the bag and then smash it out with the last album as well, and things are only going to get bigger and better from that. Like the shows he's now doing, like with the whole kind of Gatsby theme as well, like he's a true performer, and I love him.
Yeah, and big up Mr. Dallin Weeks as well.
Of course, I just want to go drinking with Brendan Urie.
I would love to sit in a jazz bar just drinking some whiskey with Brendan Urie.
Oh,
it
nice.
would end very badly for me, and I would highly embarrass myself, but that's like my dream date.
I mean, just as a quick one here, the video of Brendan Urie telling the history of Fall Out Boy while drunk
Oh,
is
yeah.
the single greatest
man.
video
Yeah.
that's ever been created.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched that, please
One of my
go watch it
favourite
now.
gifts.
I love
is
that
from
picture of him we've got as well of him drink. I think it's vodka that he's drinking when he's come off stage. In like
he's got
sort
the
of
Patron.
yeah, that's Patron. Yeah. Knew it'd be something fancy.
What?
Yeah.
Brendan Urie, you legend. And just to finish, Hannah Withcon has asked us what our favourite Blink-182 album is. Mine is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Take off your pants and jacket.
self-titled.
Yeah, we've done it again.
Yeah.
Like, we should probably...
I feel like I'm kind of like the odd one out in this gang. You know, when like there's always one that just doesn't quite fit in. That's me. You're both wrong.
Yeah, all good shouts, to be fair. Be diplomatic. Cool, so the magazine. Neck Deep bundles are still on sale. The Ultimate Bundle is sold out, but you can go to shop.rocksound.tv and still pick up the Panic or the Peace bundle or the Standalone magazine. Both include a bottle opener keyring, a pin badge, and a custom-shaped vinyl sticker of the band's very cool new logo. If you go for the Peace bundle, though, you get an exclusive drawstring rucksack designed by bass player Phil Thorpe Evans, which is really, really sick. And if you go for the Panic bundle, you can get a hand-signed poster print by the whole band. Super cool. Like the Ultimate bundles, these will sell out, so you've got just about 2 weeks left, so go on, snap them up. You know you want to. The mag is absolutely awesome this month. Obviously Neck Deep on the cover with an incredible story about how a new album, of course, at number 2 in the US charts, The Peace and the Panic, came together. Really tumultuous, difficult time for the band that's, to say, kind of given birth to this amazing album. Really interesting read. We've also got all manner of things. We've got MGK, Machine Gun Kelly kind of entering our world a bit, feeling godlike. Jack did that interview. Very good read.
Literally my favourite chat of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
MGK got on board.
Amazing. So check that out. We've got the return of Tay Jardine, insane. He's obviously been on the podcast a lot in the past few weeks. Really awesome. Got Taka from 1AK Rock's My Tunes, which range from Vanessa Carlton, banger, Hayley Steinfeld, banger, through to kind of Mosh and that sort of thing. I did a chat with Straight from the Path, putting the world to rights, talking about wanting to prod the Hornet's Nest and accidentally booting it. Really, really good stuff. While She Sleeps, fan questions, talking about breakfast cereals to where the name comes from. Gospel Youth Shenanigans, which also mentions Tamsin as well.
Yep.
Stand Atlantic and Dale's exclusively Breakout. Got the exclusive review of Stephen Massaran's new album, Huge Talking Point and Gossip. Would You Rather with Jaden from Withcon, and a really moving tribute to Linkin Park's Chester Bennington. So it's all there now, shop.rocksound.tv. Go and snap it up. Let us know what your favourite things are. Awesome. So interview 2. John O'Callaghan from the Maine. Really great chat. Love Little Lonely is one of the standout albums of this year. So many bangers on it. I think it's the Maine's best album to date as well. They're coming over to the UK next month. Can't wait to check them out. So I chatted to John about kind of how they came into this new journey for the band. And it kind of opened up into this chat about not necessarily being a straight up rock band and doing kind of interesting, fearless things with your music, which is becoming quite a running theme on this podcast, which I really like. All the way to things like their covers EPs, which I absolutely love. More on those later. So here we go. John from the Maine. Thank you so much for coming on the Rock Sound podcast. Really appreciate the time.
Of course. Thanks for having me, man.
Man, absolute pleasure. Lovely Little Lonely's been with us for a good few months now. How does it feel kind of bringing those songs into the set and kind of listening back to the album now it's been out there for the public for, a good while?
Yeah, it's interesting the way that, you sit with something for so long, and I wrote the songs so long ago that I've kind of been around them for ages now, and they're no longer mine. Once you put a record out or release a poem or anything out into the kind of the ether, I think that it becomes something for someone else. So it's been great to see and hear how people feel about the new stuff, because in a landscape where people only put out singles or listen to singles as a fan, we put a lot into making a record, and I think that we will never shy away from that, because there's something to be said about that experience. And we remembered back to records that we really dug growing up, and even continue to discover along our lives. We realized how important it is for us to sit down, put a record on, and really experience it from start to finish. So it's been cool to hear people say that they actually listen to the whole thing.
It goes into so many different moods, like there's a song like Bad Behaviour, and then, later on there's a song like I Only Want to Talk to You, and it's a very mercurial kind of wide-ranging album in that respect. I mean, is that reflective of the writing and recording process for it then?
Yeah, I think it's also indicative of not only who I am, but who we are as five individuals. I think, our inspiration and our influence comes from a wide range of artists and bands. And I think that we really didn't sit down and say, oh, we got to sound like this. Because when I was writing a lot of these songs, I was listening to predominantly The Clash. And I've told a few people that, and obviously it doesn't really bleed through in the record, but I think, I don't know, attitude-wise or some form of their spirit was, I was trying to let them imbue that into me while writing and recording. And so, yeah, I think it's really derivative of me really enjoying pop arrangements and pop songs, and being able to kind of go all over the place. Like I Only Want to Talk to You for us was kind of like a throwback to the 90s and trying to do something that the Verve was doing, or and then kind of going all over the place. It's, I don't know. For us, it was it wasn't one specific thing. We knew what we wanted to kind of do as far as a blueprint was concerned, but we weren't necessarily, stuck at all.
Oh man, that's so awesome. I mean, taking songs like "Do You Remember," like the other half, 23. Where do songs like that come from? Because I love that song in particular because it kind of comes around halfway through, and it just kind of, that riff just kind of comes in, and your hooks just come in, just like knock you for six. I'm just like, whoa, where did that song come from?
I appreciate it. Yeah, man. This setup was a little bit different as far as me approaching writing songs. This was the first time I really, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to cuss.
Oh, you can cuss, yeah, go for it.
It's the first time I really fucked around with Pro Tools. So it was kind of a learning experience as well as, songwriting at the same time. So, sorry, I'm looking on my computer to see if I can play. Well, I don't know how great it would sound.
Oh, go for it.
Let me see if... Here, let's see if this...
Amazing.
I don't know if you can hear this,
yeah,
but it'll start going.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the original groove. then obviously
Amazing.
we went and so it started that way, and we knew we had a foundation of something that we kind of dug and we can kind of groove to. So I think that's one of my favorite leads that Jared has come up with and that we've come up with together. And I think it does a good job of breaking up the album into two pieces so that it's not, it doesn't drag and it doesn't kind of hit a lull and kind of ramps you back up into the second half of the record.
Definitely. No, thank you for playing that as well. That was really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just like...
It actually sounded pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because as well, it's a really fun album as well. Like, we've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but like, it's, there are a lot of tunes on there where, that have a real summery vibe, and it's just like such an enjoyable, fun listen, as well as the album having a lot of gravitas and being quite deep. Was it important to kind of make sure that element was very much in there?
Absolutely. I think we felt kind of a shift in everything once we put out American Candy, and we kind of wanted to just ramp off that and just kind of really bring that into whatever was next. So we obviously dressed everything up differently and sat down and made a plan to make a different album. But we certainly took parts of feelings that we felt and kind of breathed those into what we were doing. And I think, I don't want to make just like completely somber records anymore. After we made Forever Halloween, I just... It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for me. It just feels like people ask too many questions, like, how are you doing all the time? It's like, I'm doing like doing the best I can. That's how I'm doing. And it's like, I think that at the end of the day, we're a rock band, but it's in disguise. I think that we're a pop band, and I'm cool with that. And it's taken me a while to really kind of accept it, but there's no reason I should run from it, because it's what I dig, and it's who we are. We're writing, and not pop in the sense of like, toothpaste commercials, but we're writing, hopefully we're writing tunes and melodies that people can sing along to, and it's certainly not math rock. It's certainly not like sci-fi rock or whatever Pink Floyd was. It's like it's pretty straightforward stuff. So yeah, it should be fun, man, and it is fun, and that's really important, because when it stops being fun, that's when I'm out. So I hope it stays fun forever.
Yeah, man, no, I'm sure it will. Like, going on that point as well, then, do you think Lovely Little Lonely is kind of, I guess, the perfect representation of what you've always wanted to do with the band?
Yeah, I really do think so. And obviously, again, with the bias in mind, I understand, but I do. I think that American Candy, for me, was like... I think that it was like our first record. You have all this time to write it, and that to me is like an introductory sound for us. And I think that with Lovely Little Lonely, we took the good and the bad, not only from American Candy, but from every album that we've done, and we really tried to create a focused effort and to put forward some sort of like concise energy that really, in my completely 100% biased opinion, there is no fat on the record, and there's no gristle, there's no like excess. And I was really hard on myself, and we were really hard on ourselves, saying goodbye to songs and to saying goodbye to pieces that we were really fond of, but just kind of knew that that they wouldn't do for the album what we really needed them to. So this to me is kind of it's the perfect kind of depiction of where we are as a band in our headspace and our sound as a dynamic. And I'm already itching to start writing for whatever's next. So
no way.
It's I mean it's it gets boring just sitting around, man.
Cool. So does that mean that obviously very, very early days, but does that mean there might be the next album might come sooner rather than later, do you think?
I don't know, to be honest, but I know that based off the past two, we operate, especially because we're doing it all independently. It's really important to have some general idea of what we're going to be doing as early as we can. So, I'm already like toying around with album titles and concepts as far as how I want it to be released and stuff like that. So I know it's so early, and we're still only months, like you said, months out from the release of what we just did. So, but it's really important, especially if you want things to run as closely to your vision as possible. Not having a ton of other people's help or their money. It's all on us. So the process starts a little bit earlier, but hopefully it means that it's the vision is carried through a little bit stronger.
So cool, man. So I guess just to finish up then, I promised myself I'd ask you this just while I had you on the phone. Your covers EPs, I absolutely love. Your cover of Still My Sunshine with Derek from Mayday Parade is just like, I haven't stopped listening to it literally since it came out. Might there be more of that in the future as well?
You know what? I think covering songs is such a great way of sharpening skills. I think from so many different angles, from a lyricist standpoint to song arrangement to even tones and stuff like that. I think for us it's always really imperative that we don't obviously stick to 100% the script when it comes to covering a song. Because I always felt like it's important to still be able to hear whoever's covering the song when they do so. And obviously we don't want to do it injustice, but we feel like they're really fun. It's almost just like if you were to have written the song, how would you have done it? And that for us, again, opens up a lot of doors and illuminates a lot of things that we couldn't see before. So certainly, I don't know to what extent, and I don't know, from what era we're going to be covering songs from, but we're definitely going to do more stuff like that. And again, it's because people give us the opportunity and because we don't have a fucking label on our back to dictate every move. It's great to move freely and kind of untamed at this point. So, yeah, man, we're just really excited about what's going on.
Awesome. So, yeah, such a good chat. My favourite bit of that chat was him saying we're a pop band in disguise. Just so good. It kind of shows that you don't have to be one thing in this day and age to be a great band. Jack, what are you saying?
One of my favourite things that John said there was right at the start, which was where he was saying how much they put into the actual record, where we're in a time where people just listen to singles. I just loved his care and consideration of like each element that they put into this album. And even though in his head he knows that maybe people aren't going to digest it in the way that he wants to, but at the same time, like in saying, I'm really glad that people actually enjoy the album. I think it's so good. It's grown on me like a rash. like a brilliantly catchy, like danceable rash.
Amazing, yeah.
And as well, I also love that he played you the demos.
That was so sick.
Which is just brilliant. Like a man who is so in love with his music
Yeah,
that he wants to show you the bare bones of what they created, which I think is brilliant, and it just reflects his character really well.
Oh, that's what it's all about. When he was like, "Oh, hang on, I'm just getting this demo,"
I
was like,
fumbling.
"Yes,
It's when he was fumbling.
Give it to me.
Like just fumbling around, just wait a minute, I'm just working it out. But it's just like that passion and that belief in what you're making, that he's not just going through the motions. And as well, that being in a position where he says the thirst to write never goes away, that like he's already, even though the album's only a few months old, already working on
already
the next
getting
step.
cracking. I know,
like straight away. Like some bands get like they sit back and put the kettle on for 4 years, like, and he's just like, I don't want to sit down. I just want to keep playing shows. I just want to keep making the Maine. And I think like it's a credit to their independence as well. Like,
it's what it's all
as
about.
a band, and not being on anyone's chain and doing it yourself.
Yeah, and he was clearly so happy about that as well.
Oh yeah, like he's so, like he's always been a very optimistic man and a very like larger than life character. But to see him like that without having any shackles around him as well it's an absolute pleasure.
Amazing. Tamsin?
Yeah, I mean, my favourite thing about the whole interview was I feel like Lovely Little Lonely is very much the sound of a band that have finally found their sound. Like, as he said, he was like, I'm so done with making somber records now. Like, we are a pop band in disguise. Like, and I think that shows in the new album as well. Like, that it definitely is a band that are just like, yeah, you know what, this is what we're meant to do. And my favourite thing he said in that interview is, I hope it stays fun forever.
Yeah.
And I think that although it's a really simple sentence, it means so much to the Maine and probably so many other bands out there, because as soon as it stops being fun, that's it, you give up. And I feel like the way he was talking about the new album and the new music that he's writing and stuff, he was just like, kind of like gave him a big boost, and he was like, we've made this album, and they felt that shift with American Candy, and it took this album to really like knock it on the head, that they're like, yeah, you know what, we found what we want to do, this is what we believe in, this is what's fun, this is what's fun to play live as well. And I love that album as well. Like, it's such a summery, fun pop rock record. Like, there's not many faults about it. And like, yeah, he's just such a cool guy, isn't he?
He is. Like,
he really is.
He's so honest as well. Like, I really believed him when he was saying all those things. Like, you could tell how much he just loves what his band are doing, you know? And the fact is testament, the fact that Lovely Little Lonely's actually popped up in other chats we've had on the podcast, like with confidence in our pilot episodes. Absolutely love it. Like, they were saying it's going to be influenced for their new album.
I mean, like, for him to be in a position like, because the Maine, they're not a new band by any stretch. No. They've been like, they've seen how this scene has changed, like from like the late noughties in 2007, 2008, and it like the pop punk renaissance in like the last few years, and they're seeing the scene changing now, and they've just stayed so consistent with it and just like done their own thing, when so many bands will just fall off that horse and like not feel like they fit in anymore. But the Maine have just stuck it out and gone, well, why would we want to fit in?
Yeah. And
just continue that. And now that like they're reaping the benefits of like sticking around and producing music which is like getting the attention of people who probably wouldn't have noticed it before, like it's just exciting, really, isn't it? It's very exciting.
Amazing stuff.
If you ever want to feel good about yourself as well, go and follow John on Twitter.
The guy's a sage.
He just like puts out little inspirational quotes like every day, and it just makes me feel a little bit warm inside.
What a man. Yeah, they stand in a field of one. We'll have a review of their show at the Coco in London next month, so look forward to that. Awesome. So RS Shouts, we're going to tie it in with what we've just talked about with the Maine. So we're going to talk about our favourite rock cover this week. We've got our RS Covers playlist online at the moment. I thought it'd be a really nice opportunity to kind of give our little personal recommendations. So I'm going to give this out to Tamsin first. What's yours?
I'm going to go with my all-time favourite, even, A Day to Remember with Since You've Been Gone.
Banger.
I feel like that's just kind of like a classic from that era. I still remember when they put it out and I heard it and I was just like, holy shit. Because A Day to Remember, one of my favourite bands, and that Kelly Clarkson song is just like the biggest banger of them all. So yeah, I love it so much, and every time it comes on in like a rock club or something, I just lose my mind.
Yeah, I mean, even after all this time, just everyone does, doesn't it? It's like a moment of the night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jack.
Yes.
Mine's a little left field, just in terms of that it's a very seasonal one.
Okay.
In terms of it's August Burns Red doing Carol of the Bells.
Oh.
That is really good, to be fair. That is a really good cover.
It's
amazing.
Because, like, if you didn't know, August Burns Red did a full Christmas album of, like, metalcore versions of Frosty the Snowman and, like, Jingle Bells and stuff. But, like, this cover of Carol of the Bells, like, Carol of the Bells is an epic song to begin with. Like, it's one of the best Christmas ones. But then they put breakdowns in it. What's better than metalcore Christmas?
I remember a few years ago I made a playlist of all like rock bands doing Christmas covers, and whilst I was putting the Christmas tree up, I put it on like full volume, like really getting in the spirit. And my mum walked in and was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
I mean, it just works because, you know, when you're a kid as well, and you're like, "Oh God, I'm done with Slade and that." Like when you go, "Oh, there's a metal band doing Christmas. This is like my alternative Christmas."
Yeah.
And I just think, like August Burns Red are a brilliant band to begin with, but for them not to take themselves so seriously, but make something so brilliant yet so tongue-in-cheek, like, perfect song.
Incredible. That completely threw me. I didn't expect that at all. Awesome. I mentioned it in the chat with John, but I'm going with the Maine's cover of 90s hit by Len, Steal My Sunshine.
I knew you were going to say that.
I just can't get enough of it. They released this covers EP at the end of 2015, and it just honestly, since it's just a regular fixture in my playlists, like onwards since then.
Is it like is it one of those songs that you listen to when you walk down the street and you're like,
oh yeah,
everything in life is great?
It's a waterfall, for sure.
It's, if I remember right, it does have Derek from Mayday Parade.
Yeah, I was about to say, Derek from Mayday Parade.
Yeah.
Oh man, doing the second verse, absolutely incredible. And to tie it all in as well, it's got a really weird but brilliant video of them getting sun creamed by a pool.
Sure, I've got various images in my head right now.
So check that out. But yeah, as I say, if you like, all these 90s influences are coming through in bands at the moment, and that song is absolutely, it's a classic, it's a total banger. So if you like that mixed with the Maine's sense of fun and kind of playing around with songs, you've got to check this out. So the Maine Mayday Parade, 90s hits, get involved. Awesome. So we're coming to an end already. This has gone so fast.
This is literally, I swear it goes quicker and quicker and quicker every week.
It actually does, yeah.
Like, we've been here 5 minutes.
We really have.
And, well, should we do it again, like next week? Maybe?
I think we should do it again. Tamsin?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, before we go, shop.rocksound.tv. The neck deep bundles, as I say, are very much still on sale, but they will sell out, so get involved. The ultimate bundles are gone, but you can still get the peace bundle, you can still get the panic bundle. So get involved, get a keyring, get a vinyl sticker, get the hand signed print of the band, get the exclusive drawstring rucksack designed by Phil from the band. Get involved. They're really, really great. So don't miss out on these. As I say, you've got maybe like a week and a half left to get them, so snap them up. You won't be disappointed. We've also got a playlist that have gone live as well. We mentioned covers playlist. We've got RS Classics, Emo. I mentioned our favourite last week, Pop Sound, Pop Bangers. Breaking Bands if you want new bands. We delve back a bit with new metal, mosh, pop punk, post-hardcore. We've literally catered to every musical need. So get involved. Let us know what your favourite playlists are. We're on Spotify at Rock Sound. Get involved and talk to us at Rock Sound on Twitter, Rock Sound on Instagram, Rock Sound on Facebook. Just let us know. Honestly, we want to create a discussion. So chat to us about all your favourite tunes, all your favourite bangers, all your favourite bands. We've also got our Scuzz TV show, which is on daily, which is a kind of really cool accompaniment to the current magazine. So if you want to kind of read along while watching, we've got videos from most of the bands in the current mag with bits of information, bits of stuff tying into the features from the magazine. So if you want to learn about these bands that you might be a huge fan of already, or you're just getting into, check that out. Super, super cool. Shop.rocksound.tv. Get involved. Let us know you're getting involved and talk to us. Guys, it's been incredible.
It's been a time, hasn't it?
It's been a lovely time.
It has been a very lovely time.
Yeah, I've nothing else to say on it. Like, I just really love being able to sit here and talk about music and nonsense.
It is really nice. It's nice to just talk about our favourite music, like the fans that we are.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So subscribe. Let us know your favourites, and yeah, it's been another incredible week. Next week we are going to be talking to Rob Damiani from One Don Broco.
Legend.
What a guy.
Yeah. Again, revealing secrets all about a band's new album, about causing chaos on their US tour earlier this year with against the current state champs, and with confidence in the Wall of Death for Pretty, and what to expect of things like Ali Pali. So super cool. Get pumped for that. We're also going to be talking to, you've asked for him, Mr. Patty Walters from As It Is.
Woo!
So yeah, Jack is swooning right now. So yeah, you've asked for him, he's coming. So yeah, cannot wait, guys. It's been emotional. Subscribe, get involved. I'll see you next week.
8 days a week, sucker.
8 days a week.
That's completely thrown me. Bye.